I'm always looking for new investments opportunity, and buying student rentals was the most recent one of them. I first came across these flats while looking for my first property to move in myself, and I was quite desperate, so I was looking at them as such a good deal. Like, these are 40 to 50k studio flats that kind of look like a prison cell, but it's a flat. So could I move there and just get a really cheap deal? But no, you can't move there if you're not a student. But now that I do have my first property purchased and I don't have to worry that much about that thing, this idea kind of came back into my head of thinking about these cheap flats and thinking how it would actually be a pretty good investment if I could just buy like a buy-to-let mortgage, pay the deposit for it. So I'm just looking in Glasgow because that's where I live, and I've set up a maximum amount of 50,000 just because that's the price range for the student flats and some parking lots, but we're gonna ignore the parking lots. And the student flats are in this area, and that's the ones that have caught my attention. So they're even below 50,000, 44, 43. There's also this other one for 42,888 pounds, and we're just gonna have a look at a few of these different properties to analyze them. So there's a common area just because it is a shared building. The kitchen is incredibly small desk, and yeah, the building is really beautiful. I like this area a lot. I'm not gonna go through the video tour. Common area, shared gym, the small kitchen, small desk, the bed in a corner, and the bathroom, but it's all basically in just one tiny room. They show us the floor plan, which is just one room, and that's it. So of course it is really cheap. And right off the bat we can see they market this towards investors, so high yield investing. And then this one doesn't give us the details of how we can get a mortgage or things like that on it, but it does give us the financial performance. And with the financial performance, they tell us that the rent is 5,550 per month. This is the annual rent, and then there's a service charge and letting fee, which I didn't realize in the beginning, but of course that makes sense, having the on-site, the gym and shared accommodation and all the different maintenance costs that it's included. But also this does not cover any repairs or damage to the flat that will be covered by the landlord. So you have some responsibility, as you would with any flat, if you are gonna invest into a property, that you take care of the property and fix anything that the tenants might need. This kind of gives us that 6,050 minus 2,718, actually the profit, the financial performance, it's only 3,332 pounds a year, and that is not as impressive as we would have expected if we didn't take into account these service charges and letting fee. And I'm just going to show you a few other ones just because they give a better insight. The more you check, the more you find out about them. So let's look at one of these ones, and it's basically the same concept: an even smaller bed and a bigger desk, I guess a bigger kitchen. I prefer this one, but smaller bed. Yeah, small bathroom and shared laundry. That's kind of student halls. I guess they have a little cinema and stuff. Yeah, it's basic student accommodation, but 44,995 this one. And once again, they market it as excellent investment opportunity, earn instant income. They do focus a lot on this investor details. So here it's where they tell us, due to the size and lease restriction on purpose-built student accommodation, these properties are not eligible for a mortgage and can only be bought as investment properties. So we learned that cash buyers only need apply, and so you can't get a mortgage. And I did actually email the guys from this area to ask if it's the same situation, and it is. It seems like it's a general thing for student flats. If you have a student flat, then you won't be able to get a mortgage on it and you have to buy it as cash. But regardless, of course, like for me, that's a no-go. I can't afford buying this in cash. But at the same time, it kind of begs the question of, is this actually a good investment to get the 3,000, how much did we say, 3,333 pounds annually if we had this money to invest into a student property? And actually this one does give us more details into the financial breakdown. You can see that the rent is a little bit higher in this one, and they give us a gross yield of 16.44%, but of course this is very useless to me because I don't care about the gross yield since I'm gonna have to pay service charges and letting fees. So the net yield 8.28%. Yeah, it's a good return. I'm not gonna say it's a bad return, but to me it kind of begs the question of, I'm getting this return and I'm also liable for any damage to the property, and I am in charge of like fixing it and paying any reparations that might be needed. And at the same time, in my general investment account with Trading 212 that I'm also sharing on this account, I tend to get a return between 14-16%, so that's already much better and I have much lower risk with it. I guess this is more like it's guaranteed that you will get this amount as long as it's rented, but you might also be charged. So there's a risk in both sides, but to me I would rather get the 16% return from stocks and share and just put my money there and not have to worry about going into property investment. So I don't think this is ideal for me. My last year performance on just my investing account has been in the range of 14-16% return, so I'm already better off to just use the stock market plus getting the dividends on top of it and not having to worry about a flat that I'm managing. But on the other hand, I can totally see how this student investment flat would appeal to a certain type of investor that is very conservative, because with the stock market you don't get the guarantee that you're going to get 8% return year on year, which with this kind of flats you would, but at the same time you have to put a really large capital investments in the present. So yeah, it's not for me, but while I did this research and I spent the time to look into it, I thought might as well share this with anybody else that might be interested in the same thing, to kind of see how someone else has researched it and maybe save you some time. Thanks for joining me and see you in my next video. Goodbye!